Happy New Year. It is, I'm going to say New Year's, although I know it is the 6th. However, I think this is the first video that I have posted since the new year. So hopefully you had a wonderful New Year. Welcome everyone. My New Year goal, I just want you to know, my New Year goal is to do more crafting live. So oops, sorry, I had to mute my other computer. So you're going to see a lot more lives from me instead of doing recorded content, because I actually have grown to kind of love doing these lives. So today what we are going to do is all over social media. Every single time I go onto any type of social media, a calendar is the #1 thing that I have been seeing everyone create. So a few years ago, I actually created these types of calendars. I did floral designs a few years ago, and I brought them back because they are still wildly popular. However, I am going to show you how we can take anything. So if you don't want to do floral, you don't have to do floral. If you wanted to do Disney characters, you totally could. Really doesn't matter what type of theme you wanted to go with this. I'm going to show you how to create this all within Cricut Design Space. And I am going to be using the free Cricut Design Space today, not the, I actually quit paying for Cricut Access, so we got to do it all for free. So that is what we are going to create today, is something cute like this. Now I have to be very transparent. These right here, clip arts, did come from Cricut. However, they are paid for images that I have previously paid for back in the day, back when they used to do like cartridges and stuff. I've been a Cricut crafter since like 2012. So there was a lot of Cricut cartridges that I bought over the years. So a lot of the stuff, unlike most beginner Cricut users, you probably don't have a very big inventory. We'll discuss where I like to find clip arts as well, just in case you wanted to create something different than what we're going to be doing today, okay? Also, this cute little stand for your calendar, we create that also within Cricut Design Space today. So hold on one second, let me go grab a drink. I'm actually just recovering from some type of cold, the flu or something like that. So my throat is looking a little weird today. Okay, so supplies for today are going to be very minimal. I've linked them all in the description of the video, but just to go over them real quick, you're truly only going to need a small little bit of cardstock, really small. Like, this is how big. I mean, you can make your stand larger if you wanted to. I don't think you need it to be that large, because you don't want it to hang over your calendar. You know what I mean? Like, it's really there just for a structural thing, not as like a cute thing. So you just need a piece of scrap cardstock. I just linked in the description my white cardstock found in my cardstock warehouse. Any color will do, because really, like, you can see, you only are seeing these footprints right here. Hi from Wisconsin, feel better, and thanks. This will be very helpful. Thanks for watching. And I think it's probably cold in Wisconsin, right? It's probably freezing in Wisconsin. It's not so freezing here today. But next on the supply list is going to be some of printable cardstock. Now, if I was using my Caesar Juliet, so this thing right here, if I was using my Caesar Juliet, to be honest with you, I would probably just use my 12 by 12 white cardstock and my Caesar Juliet. The reason for that is because with the Caesar Juliets, you can print then cut 12 inches. So that's my go-to. Unfortunately, I know a lot of crafters do not have the Caesar Juliet, so that's why we're using the Cricut, and that's why I'm using printable 8.5 by 11 cardstock. But if it were me, I would be going and using the Caesar Juliet if I was just doing this for a project of myself. Okay, so this particular cardstock that I have, it is linked in the description. I want you to know it is super thick. The reason why I linked it is because for your calendars, you're going to be using them all year around. I do want you to be able to have them to be sturdy. You know what I mean? And so if you use like plain cardstock and like the thick, or not plain cardstock, but the printer paper, it's going to flop around. Okay. So I would suggest using a sturdier cardstock. This right here is double-sided glossy cardstock. I don't know why they made it glossy on both sides, but I do love the way that this prints. So you're going to need a few sheets of that. I think the way that I have created it, it is about, I think we need like 6 sheets of this. Someone had asked, what weight is it? It's 69 pound. But to be honest with you, they say 69 pound. And like this feels a lot thicker than 69 pound. I wonder if it's because it's glossy on both sides. It definitely feels a lot thicker. And then the other things that you are going to need, if you have a not so sticky mat, you are going to need a brayer. But if your mats are brand new, do not use this. And I'll explain why here in a little bit. And then a good old spatula. And then a scoring stylist. This right here is like a couple bucks on the Zon. You need to grab it for anything that's paper project related. This is your go-to little handy guy here. This one right here, you can see it's like crusty, dusty, and old because I've had it for like 12 years. And then I am going to be working with 2 mats because I like to be efficient. If you are a brand new Cricut user and you've hardly used a Cricut, just stick with 1 mat, but I'm going to do 2 because I'm going to show you how quick we're going to be able to switch things in and out. Also, little side note, because I did have a fall here in my craft room last month. If you are using a brand new Cricut mat and you have this piece of plastic on here and you go to throw it away, because I just throw them away. I never actually put them back on my mats. I just throw them away. And then when I'm done, like crafting, I put this in a drawer. If you are done, make sure that this little plastic piece lands in your garbage can. I cannot stress that enough. I have slippy floors, like non-carpeted floors in my house, and I was using a brand new Cricut mat. I took the plastic off of this thing and I threw it into my garbage, as I always do, throw it in the garbage. Well, I didn't make the garbage can. It made the ground. I didn't know that. And it's clear. So I go to leave my craft room to go grab an Amazon delivery, and I slip and fall and shake my entire house. I was down for the count. I actually had a surgery in November, and I was 2 weeks post-op, and I had to go back into the hospital to make sure everything was okay because I fell so hard. So I just want you to know, disclaimer, if you are new to Cricut crafting, make sure these little plastic things land in the garbage can, because you don't want to slip and fall and hurt yourself. That's never happened to me before for all years, but I am going to put it as a disclaimer for forever now. Okay, the only other thing that you are going to need is going to be the SVG file and the PNG files that I've already created that are within the cardstock shop. It's linked in the video. The reason why I have decided to go this route as opposed to just creating everything from scratch is because it took me 3 hours to create the entire file. And who wants to be doing that? I would much rather just get to crafting and building our custom calendars versus doing everything from scratch. So I pretty much got us sped up to where we are ready to start crafting and customizing to your crafts. So that is what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to go into the description, click the little link, and that is going to give you the link to the cardstock shop. Now, what we are going to do after you get done with the cardstock shop, what we are going to do is we are going to head over into Cricut Design Space. And I already have what looks like my finished calendar. This is exactly what our finished calendar is going to end up looking like. I'm just going to move my computer here just so I can see. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. I'm also going to link the SVG file. If you wanted to craft along with me, this would be a great time to do it, just because if you get picked up any type of hiccups or anything like that, you can actually ask while we are crafting together. Okay, so here is the chat for that. That is going to be the SVG file for today's project. All right, so this is going to be the finished work that we have, or that I've already created and put on my desk. All I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this over to the right, just so for you, you would want a brand new window in Cricut Design Space. So if you haven't played with Cricut before, you open up Cricut Design Space and do new project, and a new window is going to pop up. My brain just like hiccuped that entire word. Okay, this is what it's going to look like minus what we have here on the right hand side. Just Forget that that's even there for right now, okay? What you want to do now, after you've gotten that SVG file, is you want to come over here into Upload, and then you are going to press Upload Image. And you can see I already got some workings of things going on here, okay? So we are going to come over here into Upload, and this is where you are going to find that SVG file that we have downloaded. So I am going to open this up right here. This is that SVG file. It is going to be a zipped file, so you just want to unzip it. And then, hold on one second. Boop. All right. Then what we're going to do is we are going to start with just the calendar for right now, okay? We'll do the stand here in a second because that's super easy. Let's customize the calendar first, all right? So we're going to come over here into calendar, and the number 1 calendar is going to be January, and then number 12 calendar is going to be December. I would love for you to go in order because that's just going to help everything when we go to flatten everything and cut everything. It's going to help, okay? So go into number 1, and you can just drag and drop this into Cricut Design Space. Now, I really wish that Cricut Design Space would let you just select all of these things and put it into Cricut Design Space, but that's not the luxury that we have today. So we're going to do one file at a time. So we got the first one, and it's going to look blurry, but that is okay. That's normal. What you want to do is press Continue. Everything you should just see this. It's going to have the checkered background. That means that there's no background in this calendar. Looks really good. We don't have to do anything else outside of, if you did not like the font that I chose for January, all you need to do is come over here to Erase and then erase this. So we can just make this eraser size bigger, and you can erase this if you don't want this. Some people don't. They're probably like, oh, I don't like that script font. I want to change it to something else. More than welcome to. Just make sure that we are doing this in order, okay? That was very critical for this, is making sure that we do it in order, because then we're going to get confused later, okay? So doing that, we'll just, you know what? I'll just go ahead and delete that one, leave it there, press Continue. And here is where we need to make sure that we are correct on which one we choose. Okay, I do not have Cricut Access anymore. I do not pay for Cricut Access. So technically what you could do is change this into a single layer. That would make this a cut file, or this would be just a flat, like a flat printed picture, okay? You could, if you wanted to, you could cut this out in vinyl. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't suggest anyone to do that because those lines are too thin and the fonts are really small. I mean, you could make this really large, and, you know, it could happen. You could do it. So what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to stick with single layer, because you could, if you really wanted to, you could cut this calendar out in vinyl. I do not suggest it, but you could. So I'm going to leave it as this, and then we're going to press Continue. Now, you can rename this if you want, or you can just do one, but just to make sure that we don't get confused, because I did delete the month right here, I am going to just name it January or Jan, and I am going to press Upload. And now it is going to upload into Cricut Design Space, and it's going to be large and in charge. That is okay. We will resize this, all right? So at this point in time, what you're going to want to do is to do all of the rest of the calendars, okay? So going back over here into Upload, we want to do Upload Image, and we are going to find number 2, and we are going to drag it into Cricut Design Space, press Continue, and then you want to erase, because I've decided I'm going to erase this one, so I'm just going to erase February. And if you have any questions along the way, or if I'm going too fast, please just let me know so I can slow down for you. Then you want to press Apply and Continue. I'm going to stick with a single layer and then press Continue again. And at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this, because I have deleted that month, and press Upload. Awesome. So now we have February, and because you've named it, do you see how now it's named January and February? That way we're not going to get confused later, okay? So I'm just going to continue uploading all the rest of these because obviously it's going to be different sizes and look a little different because I've erased two and I didn't do that before, okay? So upload image. Oops, I have to erase. I'm just going to erase March. Apply and continue, single layer, rename this, and press upload. All right. This is like the least fun part ever is dragging in every single one of our little clip arts, making sure that we get them all. Like, it's just not fun. It's, what do we call that? Monotonous. It's not something that I love to do. I would love if Cricut would just allow me to, like, I need 12 things in here. Just, can I just upload 12 things? I think that that would probably help a lot of people for January, February, March, April. All right. We got a long ways to go. 4, 5. Oops, I almost forgot to rename this. April, May is number 5. Okay. And we have 6. We're almost halfway done. Oh, also, another thing you could do is we could just take this little thing, and we could just drag a box around what we do want. That's actually kind of quicker too. So June is 6. I'll show you how to do that one more time. We'll do upload image. Number 7, drag it in there, press continue. And then we'll do this box right here, and you're going to drag a box around what we do want, okay? Only what you do want, not what you do not want. Only what you do want. Press apply and continue, and then everything else is going to be the same. June, July, oops. Then we got August. This seems so much quicker than doing that erase button. Definitely so much quicker. This was August. Upload. September. Oop. Oh my goodness. Go this way. Okay. I got a new trackpad. So I have like a whole trackpad, right? A whole new computer. And instead of getting a mouse, I got a trackpad. Tell me why I did that to myself. I thought it was going to be a really smart decision. However, I'm like, my brain's trying to figure out where my mouse is at. Like, I don't know. And I use my laptop all the time, but it's like a completely different vibe when I'm doing this like on a computer versus a trackpad situation or in a laptop, I feel. Okay, October, it says, no worries, what if anything you do? Oop, you know what? I'm on the wrong side. Okay. What is, no worries, what if anything do you do if you do have access? If differently. Oh, no, you wouldn't do anything differently. I wouldn't do Cricut Access, that like beta one. There's really truly not. The only thing is if you do have Cricut Access, so here's the deal. If you already pay for Cricut Access and you did not want to get my SVG file, you didn't have to, because look at all these things right here that are available for you as a calendar. They're not filled in for like the 2026 year. So like that would be the only alternative, is like if you paid for Cricut Access, you technically don't have to do like get my SVG file that You know what I mean? That I created. It also, like if you don't, I'm not entirely sure if Cricut Design Space has the calendar stand, which is what is included in my SVG file. So that is a difference. But like I said, if we were here and if you had Cricut access, I wouldn't go here. I would just continue into the single layer. To be honest, I haven't even, because I don't play with Cricut, or I don't have Cricut access, I've never played with that. I quit paying for that thing long ago. I think it expired March of 2 years ago. All right, so we have finally made it to December. Thankfully, it takes so long, but we are here. And we got December and we are done. Okay, so we have this and it looks super messy and confusing. So all I'm going to do is now is I'm going to take the calendars that I just added into Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to come up here into a line, and I'm going to align these to the center. It's going to look funny, but that's okay. And we are just going to make this smaller just because we don't need it filling up the entire page. And let me take these and I am going to group these, right click and press group. And then I'm just going to hide these because this is what your screen should look like. Something like this, okay? You can resize these to the finished size that you want right now, but to be honest with you, you're probably going to end up resizing them again at the very end. So I would just suggest not doing that and just leaving it just like this, okay? So any size. All right, at this point, what you can do is you can actually decide. This is like where you get to choose your ending. How do you want your calendar to look, okay? Do you want it to be a square rectangle like this? Or I've seen a lot of people do like the mason jar, like it makes it like a mason jar. I did that years ago. When I did the florals, okay? So you could go up here into images, and if you do not have Cricut access, I'm not entirely sure if they have a free jar. Let's look for it. Jar. I'm just going to put in jar, and we'll toggle over into these lines, and you can do free. And we got some jars. I love it. This mason jar right here is cute. However, there is a line that's right here. You won't be able to get rid of that. This one right here is, if we click on that, am I going to be able to change this over to black? Nope, I'm not. So that's not going to work. That's not going to be a good one. This one right here could work. So if you wanted like a mason jar-esque, this right here could definitely work for you. I think that this is so cute. I know it looks a little funny right now, but we'll fix that. So if you wanted a jar, you could do that. If you wanted a rectangle like what I have already created, all you would need to do is come up here into shapes, and you would stick up here to the free ones of whatever shape you want up here. So the one that I did was this rectangle with the rounded corners, but because I want to show you an additional design step, let's just leave with this free jar, okay? So I'm going to select all of these, move these over just a little bit, because this one right here, I don't want to create the same calendar twice, okay? So we have this one. Again, if you wanted to do this, you totally could, right? Just by inserting the shape. But let me show you how versatile this entire project is, okay? So this is our free mason jar. I only want the mason jar cutout. I don't want anything else here, right? We got an apple, we got a circle, we have all these extra cutouts. We don't need it. All we need to do is come over here into contour, and we are going to hide all contours. And it should look something like this. Cricut is definitely, their upgrades are definitely interesting. But when we back out of it, this is what you should see, okay? That it's all black, everything's pretty much hidden. I know it looks like it's not, but it is, okay? All you want to do at this point is press apply. This right here is going to be the backer of our calendar, okay? So what you want to do is you want to change this over to white. Well, I mean, you can change it to whatever color you really want. I'm going to do white because my font is black. You could also change the font color. But I'm just going to do it something similar to this, and I'm going to change it to white. So we're just going to click on the black square, and then we're going to click on white, okay? What if you outline the mason jar and then change the color? I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could add additional additional lines into this if you wanted to. I'm just trying to keep this like as simple as possible, but you could, there's definitely more things that you could do with this. Like you could add a little like drawn outline with it, but I think that the way that this is going to turn out, it's going to look fine even without that. Okay. So this is going to be our, technically what we put all of our calendars on. Calendar, our whatever we decide for the toppers here, your theme, this is going to be this, the rectangle, all right? So what we're gonna do now at this point is we are gonna take this, and we have 12 months in the year, so we need 12 of these. So we are gonna copy and paste, Command C, Command V if you're using your keyboards and you're on a Mac, or if you're not and you don't wanna use the keyboard shortcuts, right here you can right click and do copy and paste. You could even do duplicate if you want. And also your keyboard shortcuts are right here as well. So you can learn your keyboard shortcuts over here. So we got 1, I'm gonna do Command D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so I have 12 mason jars. All right, so I'm gonna select all 12 mason jars, and I am going to align this to the center. And I am also going to come out down here and do arrange, and I'm going to arrange this to the back. The reason for that is I want to be able to see where my calendar is, okay? So I have these, I'm going to slide over here, and you could either do one or two things. You could resize your mason jars to fit into your calendars, or you could go the other way and you could take your calendars and resize them to fit into your mason jars. It doesn't matter which way you choose because it's all going to end up fitting, right? I'm just going to make these just smaller and fit into just like that. Now, obviously, I need my months put back in here because we don't have the months. If you actually, I would like to say, if you don't want to put the months in there, you don't have to. If you do want to include them, we have to do that now. All right. So we are going to come over here into a text. Let's make this smaller. What happened? There it goes. Okay. There is the text box. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click and I'm going to do January or just Jan. Okay. We are going to open up this new text box because I want to choose a new text. If you are using Cricut free access or the free program, the easiest way to figure out which one's free and which one's not is to come over here into these lines and just click free. Okay. So all of these are going to be free fonts, or if you have downloaded fonts that from your system, from your computer that you want to access, you would just come over here into system, and these are all going to be the fonts that you have downloaded onto your computer. Okay. Let's go with, I'm going to go back into Cricut for a free font. And we are just going to find a cute font. I can tell you, without a doubt, in the amount of years that I have been using and crafting, the hardest part of any project is finding a font that you want to commit to. That's straight facts. I don't know anyone that says picking a font's easy. It ain't. And if they do tell you that, I feel they may be lying to you because I don't think it's very easy at all. Who's with me? Does anyone actually agree with me on that? All right, this typewriter font, I love it. So I'm going to open this up and just make it larger. And I'm just going to do January, and I'm going to put it right here in the center. The one newest upgrade that Cricut Design Space did with the software is adding these snapping marks. They didn't have them in the actual software for the desktop. They did in the app, like if you were using an iPad or your phone, but now they have it in the actual software, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so there is 12 of these. Yeah, 12 fonts, 12 months. I narrowed down font choices and handwriting for a label, etc. But yes, I'm with you. That is true. You could, I've never even thought about narrowing down fonts to handwriting. I do that in Canva. Like when I am designing in Canva, I do like narrow it down, but yes, fonts, ugh, I will always struggle with it. Okay, there's 12 months in the year, so I need 12 more of these, all right? So we are gonna take one. We have figured out that we like the size, we like the placement, we like the font. I am not gonna change the font again, okay? So I'm just gonna Command D, which is duplicate, all right? I'm gonna bring this up to here, and I am going to double click, and I'm gonna do February. And then I'm gonna click out, all right? Now it's already selected. I'm gonna press Command D, which is duplicate, and I'm gonna do it again. The same thing. Center this. There we go. Come on. Okay. Double click and do March. And now I don't think this is center. I want to make sure that my fonts are center. Command D, which is duplicate. And then I'll just double click March, April, and center. There we go. Command D, which is duplicate. Double click. That wasn't March. January, February, March. January, February, March, April. This is supposed to be May. Okay, I'm gonna drag this into spot. Command D. This is going to be June. There is a lot of moving pieces. I know it will all come together at the very end. This is why like doing this together with me is like so much fun and useful, because then if you have like questions and you get stuck, you can ask them and get answered right away. So June, July, Command D, which is duplicate, July, August, there we go. September. Oops. Okay, September, October. Apparently it doesn't want to center anymore, but that's fine. That's fine. I think that's center. Okay. Then we got November. And then one more. All right. Okay, so now we have all of our months. We have all, well, we actually have 2 months. We have all the calendar months. We actually have all the font months. We have all of our mason jars if you wanted them, or rectangles if you wanted them, okay? What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna make this smaller because I've ran out of room to put things at the very top, okay? Now I did tell you that I was gonna show you where I like to find clip arts. If you do not have Cricut access, the place that I would love for you to go is Creative Fabrica. And the reason for that is because the amount of cool files that they have, I have to log in every single time I ever want to do something. I end up having to re-log in, and now I have to find my password. So annoying. Okay, here we go. All right, so for here, what you can do is like, you can just go in here and do florals or birth month florals or something like that. And they will, I mean, it's amazing. Look, I just did floral and we have 308,000 images, okay? You can do birth month, flower. We have 717, and you have this huge range of things, okay? So if you do not pay for Cricut Access and you are trying to find a spot that has like go-to clip arts, that is where I would love for you to go, okay? If you could spend your money anywhere for anything, it would be Cricut Creative Fabrica, okay? So if you do not, and you want to stay within Cricut, what you could do is just put flower. Now we are toggled onto the free because I do not pay for Cricut Access. Now, this is going to be your wide variety of flowers that you get to choose from within free Cricut projects. So when people are like, oh, will it cost you money to craft with a Cricut? It doesn't technically, because you still have choices. You just don't have as many choices. And a lot of what people, like when you see them on social media and stuff, people are paying for Cricut Access, or they're paying for Creative Fabrica, or they've paid for like an SVG file somewhere else. So there's definitely a lot of options that you can choose from, okay? It's just not as going to be readily available. So what I'm going to do, because I did not see one flower that I like there, is I am going to come back into Creative Fabrica, and I am just going to find, I just want like a simple floral design. I don't want to do like all the birth months. I feel like I just want to do like one flower. Let me just do flower and see. Creative Fabrica is worth paying for, in my opinion. Absolutely. Creative, like I'm telling you, if you have seen any of my videos throughout time, I love going there. This is like, if we're trying not to like create SVG files on our own and stuff like that, this is like go-to stuff. Okay. I just want to find like a simple flower that I actually like, that's like a stem, just so I can show you. Oh, look, right here. Look at this. Is this one good? That one's kind of thin. Here, let's go in here and go back into Cricut Design Space. Oh, here, wait. I know I probably paid for some. So free and purchased, maybe downloaded. Awesome. Give me something. We got flowers, pizzas. Floral. I say floral and I get a mustache. How interesting. Interesting. Clear all. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Sunflowers are popular. Okay, let me look up sunflower and see if I've purchased one. Oh, we got things that need to be purchased. Okay, let me go back over into Creative Fabrica. I'm just going to find one. I swear. You know, I love flowers, but I don't know the name of any of them. Oh, this one's cute. Look at this one. Do we like this? I could totally use that for every single one of my calendars. That is so pretty. Ooh, what about this cardinal? Ooh, that's really pretty. Then we got a bouquet of flowers. Ooh, ooh. Okay, wait. I'm going to do this one right here. What do you think? Like this bouquet of flowers? I think that's going to look so cute. I'm going to download this one. We have a lot of different options to choose from, but I feel like this one, ooh, that one's really pretty. And we can like make it into like a bouquet, like looking. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Downloaded that. We are going to go into uploads, upload image. We are going to find that downloaded folder. It's still downloading. And then we will come and we will find one. See, I love them, and they actually grow in so many colors. I love sunflowers. My neighbor in the backyard, she had a bunch of sunflowers in the summertime, and they were gorgeous. I, however, have a black thumb. So I am going to quick view this. So right click and do quick look, because I think that this is gorgeous. It's so pretty. You could do something like this, but see all that watercolor? I think that would be too hard to cut out. But I think this one, we're just going to add a little shadow to make sure that this is super easy to cut out, but I think that this is going to end up looking really good, okay? So I'm going to do number 39. So I'm going to drag that into Cricut Design Space. It says, whoa, it's a large item. Don't worry, it will get there. We got no background. You can see that it doesn't have a background because you can see that checkered all over the place. We'll just press apply and continue. This time, because this is not something that you're ever going to want to cut out of vinyl, that isn't like a printable vinyl, okay? We're going to stick with flat graphic here. Now, it is going to try and do its like multi-layer situation. What that's doing is it's taking this flat graphic, this like printable image, and it's going to try and give you multiple layers that you could cut out and build like with cardstock. Don't do it. I wouldn't even do that. Not for something like this. We are going to click flat graphic and just press continue. I'm going to rename this. And then we'll press upload. And eventually it will get there. It is large, so it will take some time to load in. There it goes. Awesome. Okay, so before we do anything more to like putting this onto our mason jar, what I want to do is create a little bit of an offset to this. I'm going to select everything that we've already uploaded and just drag it over. Because the reason for that is if you were to try and cut this out exactly the way that it stands, it is going to be a nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. Things are going to tear, it's going to take forever, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So we are going to come over here into offset, and we are going to create an offset, okay? That is this blue line that's right here. We're going to make it white, so it's not going to be blue. I mean, I guess you can make it whatever color you wanted. I'm going to end up making it white, okay? What I want to focus on, everything that's on the inside, like there's going to be a cutout that's right here and also a cutout that's right here. We're going to get rid of that. Don't worry. However, if you are like what you are most worried about is going to be the outermost edges of this entire thing, okay? If you wanted a thicker outline, you can drag this over to the right. And that would just make it really thick. I personally am not someone who likes really thick borders, okay? So I'm going to drag this down, and I'm going to drag this down to where I don't have that big of a white border because I really don't want a whole lot of white to show through. I'm actually at this point in time hoping that the Cricut is misaligned with the Print Then Cut, so I actually don't get as much white as you would think, okay? Yes, we have all these little cutouts right here. We will fix that, but I'm going to leave it like this and just press apply. So it turns out to be black. Looks like I have a little hanger here. That's okay. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to end up using that, but this right here is black. If you want it to be black, you can keep it black, or we can click on that black, square and you can change it to whatever color. Again, I'm going to change it to white because I don't want something to stand out. All right. So, wait, before I do that, this. All right. We are going to change this over. Oh, wait. I want my bouquet to be kind of like this. The file is so large that now I'm just starting to get stuck. Cricut Design Space really doesn't like to do like large things.